Hello, dear defense aspirants. I am Colonel Pankaj Mehrotra, retired interviewing officer. Been in the selection system for 8 years. Presently, I am also mentoring the candidates for SSB in the Trishul Defense Academy. I've also set up a dormitory here for the candidates. It's just about 800 meters from the selection center and about 800 meters from the railway station. Today, it's my proud privilege to introduce to you Mayank Sharma, who has cleared his SSB and his medicals today. They say a bird in hand is better than two in the bush. But here is Mayank, who has both the birds in both his hands. He has also cleared his AFSB, SSB, waiting his merit. And he came to us on the 5th of March, because his SSB was on 6th March, wherein reported, cleared his SSB on the 10th. There were good 55 candidates who had reported that day, 39 got screened in, and out of those 39, 7 have got recommended. And here our Mayank is the one of those 7. And what he tells me of the last few batches that he's seen, about 5 to 6 has been the average clearance in the SSB. Before I ask him to speak to you all, let me just tell you a little bit about Mayank. He is from Roorkee. He did his schooling in the Army Public School in Roorkee. Thereafter, he did his graduation from Army Institute of Law in Mohali. So, he is an advocate. And he's worked for 1 year as a corporate lawyer in Delhi. And thereafter, of course, he took on to the defense and cleared his AFSB, cleared his AFSB, SSB in October 24. And this year, just around the holy time, he has cleared his SSB for the SSC NT. So, heartiest congratulations, Mayank.
Thank you so much, sir.
Aim of getting you here is to maybe give your viewpoint. A lot of people think that the selection center, Allahabd, is a rejection center. This myth, of course, is because the largest number come in the country to this particular selection center. But you've been here for a good 10 days now, more than 10 days. You've seen the complete SSB of the Army. You've seen the SSB of the Air Force. I would like you to tell the viewers as to what is your impression. What is that magic that you think you have, because of which you have succeeded twice now in a row at the SSB? Because most of the candidates are looking for some magic band, So maybe you can talk to them about it.
Thank you for inviting me, sir, first of all. And sir, in fact, I would say that I had 2 SSB experiences, sir. One in the Air Force, as you said, and one in the Army, sir. I would say that both of them are probably the same, except few minor tweaks here and there. They are more or less the same procedure that is being followed over the 5 days, sir. And sir, I would say what works basically, or worked for me at least, sir, was just having a positive mindset, sir, and showing my true personality over there. Instead of rote learning answers beforehand or learning SRTs or WATs, I just went there and gave a pretty clear picture as to what I am thinking about a particular SRT or a particular word that is being shown to me. And instead of framing it in a deliberately in a positive manner, too positive a manner, or too realistic a manner, I just went what came to my mind at that particular point of time. So I think showing your true personality and just having a positive mindset of generally in life is something that helps you a lot in SSB, sir.
Being what you are.
Yes, sir, truly.
Yeah, right. So that is what I also say, that always don't ever try and project yourself to be somebody that you're not. And it works that way. All right. So anything that you think these candidates, what is it that makes you feel is the prominent quality that a person must have if he has to clear the SSB?
So again, at the risk of repeating myself, I would say that having a positive attitude is something that really works well, sir. Not only in SSB but in life as well. So in fact, when we speak to someone, half of the time people are just saying things that don't go in their favor. They're probably telling themselves negative narratives. What if I don't clear? where will I do my job? How will I get there? How will I reach there? These sort of things, sir. These are sort of negative things that get ingrained into your brain. And when you are under pressure in WAT or SRTs, that negativity gets reflected in that, sir. In fact, in your GDs as well. In fact, if I can remember one of a small incident that happened in my GD, we were 5-6 people in that particular group, and we all were speaking all positive things about the given topic, sir. However, unfortunately, one of the other candidates, he was just negating all our points, sir. So that didn't look good in the GD, sir. So that is something that gets reflected when you speak and when you write your SRTs and WATs and you do your GDs. So having a positive mindset is something that works well. And secondly, sir, I would say that communication skill is one of the ultimate tools that you can have, because ultimately, if you can't communicate what you are thinking, then what is the point of having that positive mindset or the knowledge that you have? So you need to communicate it well, sir.
When you say positive mindset, a lot of us as assessors also, we talk about the positive mindset. To your mind, what is a positive mindset?
Sir, in all humility, I would say it's basically just having the heart and the spine to say whatever comes our way, we'll face it. That's what positive mindset to me is, nothing else.
To me, not being preoccupied with the results, isn't it? That gives you a lot of confidence in just being what you are and expressing yourself freely. A lot of time I've seen candidates trying to be the perfect candidate. What is your concept of a perfect candidate for SSC?
So, in fact, I would say there is no perfect candidate. If someone is preparing himself to be perfect since his childhood, then maybe he might touch that benchmark of being perfect. Otherwise, some of us are too much into academics, not in sports. Some are too in sports and not in academics. And in fact, I would say the SSB process, as well as the assessors who are there, they do realize these realities of life, that someone might not have the opportunity or the infrastructure to be in sports, or someone might not have that clear guidance to be good in academics, and he might have done well in his NCC or in sports. So they do realize these realities and they fully accept them. Provided you are you show your true nature and your reality there, and you tell them clearly, so this is what I did, and this is the reason I could not do this, and this is my reality, and I fully accept it. I'm working on it, or I want to improve it in these particular fields that I'm not good at. So they do accept these realities, sir. So I believe that is how it is.
When you look back at your SSB first time you went for the AFSB, you did say that, of course, the process is same, and except for this, except for few obstacles that you found different. Rest of the things procedure-wise are same. But as far as your personal experience, that was your first SSB. With that mindset of a recommended candidate when you came here, did you think that made any difference?
Yes, sir, I would in fact accept that it did make a difference, because firstly, I was aware of the whole process beforehand. Secondly, having a sort of recommendation tag gives you that confidence that I can do it again as well, and the process is similar only. And thirdly, sir, if you are true to yourself, then you are showing the same personality which you showed on your first SSB. So the subsequent time you are appearing for it, you are exactly showing the same personality. So you need not to worry that I would falter somewhere, because you are being true to yourself. Had you created some sort of different positive identity by faking it, then you would worry about whether will I be able to recreate it or not. But if you are being true to yourself, then how many SSBs you gave, you will clear them, sir, because you are being true to yourself. So it does help to have a previous experience and a previous recommendation, sir. So that.
The stage 1 testing that you did here in the Allahabd, 55 candidates were there,
Yes, sir.
out of which I will say fairly large number, 39 is a good number out of 55 getting screened in. And I must say that the reporting is less, and also the batch must have been very good, because in your batch, seven have got recommended. So what is your experience of the stage 1, and what would you say to the other aspiring candidates? What is it that is the major thing that helps you in the SSB, in the stage 1 testing?
Yes, sir. So stage 1 we have the intelligence test and the picture perception test, sir. So the intelligence test is pretty straightforward. You just practice it a lot, and you will get probably good at it, sir. As far as the picture perception is concerned, sir, I would say, sir, communication skill plays a very, very important role, sir, because that is something which will make you stand out in the group. If you are confident and you're speaking in a clear, good language like an officer, you clearly stand out in the group. So that is something that shows to the assessor that yes, he is probably a potential candidate, sir. So that is one thing. And secondly, I would say, sir, there are few benchmarks over which you create your story. For example, the story has to be positive, and you have to show leadership, probably leadership qualities in that. It has to be realistic. Something that is not realistic or something that is unachievable, you don't have to show that, sir. So I basically made very simple stories, nothing exceptional in them. Very basic stories where I created a hero who was a good leader. He distributed different responsibilities among his various subordinates who he might have or colleagues he might have. And he went on to complete a simple task, sir. For example, here I created a particular scene wherein there was a doctors, senior residents, and the senior doctor was not there and they got an emergency case, and one of the guys simply took the responsibility, did video conferencing with the senior doctor, and then with his colleagues they performed the surgery under the supervision of their senior doctor, and that's how they completed their task and didn't get panic or something. So I think that helps creating a positive, realistic story that shows your personality, that you are a leader and you can think quick and you can distribute responsibilities among the people you are working with, your cooperative. So these sort of qualities help. So
Do you think that having worked in the corporate sector for 1 year as a lawyer, corporate lawyer, did it in any way help you in your being more confident, in being more practical oriented?
In fact, sir, I would accept that it did help, sir, because having practical experience gives you sort of realistic viewpoints of the life. That when the situation comes, how you deal with that, how cooperative the team will get. Because there are certain benchmark that I would say the levels the team would cooperate. Beyond that level, the team would cooperate. And if you are below that level, then there is no point having a team at all, sir. So that realistic benchmarks have to be set, sir, when it comes to positivity, when it comes to cooperation. So all these things, I had the experience of working in actual teams. So that helps me that how can a team work, because there's a sort of dynamics, the team dynamics that works. So you have to keep remember all those things, and then you have to see how you can utilize your team, what sort of people you have in your team, how you can utilize their expertise, what responsibilities you can give to someone. So all those practical experiences that I had working in a team, so those definitely helped me in creating a good story, sir.
So, having done your law,
Yes, sir.
of course, I know you come from a defense background. Your father was in the army.
Yes, sir.
How is it that you really, thought of getting into the SSC, NT, or in the AFSB, and not in the JAG branch?
Sir, I in fact am open to joining the JAG branch. In fact, I am waiting for my interview date, sir. So I would be appearing for that as well. However, I have been pretty open to things in my life, sir. I have just followed my passion. So after my class 12th, I had interest in law, so I went on to do law. So I couldn't clear my NDAs and all, sir. So I decided to do my undergraduate in law, so I was interested in it. And defense has always been a passion, sir, because my father has been in the army, sir. So that has always been on the back of my mind. So as soon as I got the quality experience in law, sir, I thought, let me now go towards defense, sir, serve a few years my country. So
Not having been successful in NDA written exams, of course, getting selected for the AIL is again a good achievement that you had. The question that most of the time people think is it, did you take any formal training, any coaching for preparation of the SSB, or how you went about doing your preparation if you have not had any formal coaching?
So in fact, I did not have any formal coaching as such. I prepared using YouTube only, sir. There are a lot of content over YouTube, sir. In fact, our retired officers, they are providing quality coaching free of course, in fact, over YouTube, sir. There's a lot of content you can practice, and they discuss stories. In fact, you can put your stories in comments, and you can get your stories reviewed by the real assessors who had been in the forces, sir, and the SSB. So I think that is how I prepared, sir, using the YouTube one.
But what is your perception? If a person undergoes some sort of a formal training, does it really help? Will it help?
Sir, it would, I think, help, sir, because it might give you a direction to think, how you have to think. Because if you're going for the first time, you can be a little bit clueless. In fact, I myself was clueless about the GTO task, because that is something you cannot learn on YouTube. You have to be physically there. But by the grace of God, sir, I did get ideas while doing my GTO. So I could figure it out how to do it, because there are simple principles of fulcrum and counterbalance involved in that. So I was able to clear all those things, sir. But in fact, I would believe, sir, that it does help if you get a particular coaching. But one thing people should remember is that you should not memorize the answers that they teach you, because at the end of the day, how much will you memorize? And some of the times the stories doesn't fit the picture that people make. And in BAT and the SRTs, you are under pressure. So even if you have memorized half of it, you won't remember it. So it's better you train your mind to be positive all the time. And even if certain negative aspects come, in fact, I remember a few words I did wrote a negative sentence, and I might have got some negative marking on that. But that is, I think, shows the real personality, and every human has this positive aspect and negative aspect. You have to balance it out, or probably be in a more positive area rather than the negative area. So that is how it is. So.
All right. Okay. So, in any case, of course, you have to know the path. I fully agree with you. While you were, going around doing all these preparations, I'm sure on the YouTube, so much of content is there. There are so much of contradiction at so many places.
Yes.
What would you like to say about that?
Sir, as far as contradiction is concerned, I would say the way I avoided it, in fact, I would say I just picked one channel that I found the stories that they were discussing. I found them that this is how the story should be, because your heart also gives you one story, or your mind has its own voice, and you can think, oh, this is the story. I don't think it will fit on this, and this is something too unrealistic. I won't go with that. And still, if you write that story, then confidence won't come. So I followed my own volition, I would say, and I followed one particular channel for, say, picture perception test, sir. And I practiced few stories, not even more than 10, 20 stories, sir. I just practiced 10, 20 stories. So that gave me a pretty good idea how to write them. And I would say that going sort of unprepared or not practicing too many stories helped me actually, because I didn't have any preconceived ideas or notions about a picture. So when the picture came, I just had my positive attitude and confidence with me, and I wrote the story that came to my mind in a simplistic manner, sir.
So you have actually touched upon most of the aspects that I, during those 14 days of the formal training that I gave, we yourself have, bottom line is always the mind. Mind plays the most vital role. If you have that discretion of being able to see what is right and what is wrong to you, because my right and my wrong may be different from your right and your wrong.
Yes.
All right. So what in the SSB is most important is you. You are the subject. So just remain yourself, and nothing succeeds like success. We have heard Mayank. We have a couple of SSB aspirants who are sitting here in the SSB dormitory where we are doing this podcast. Should you have any questions to ask, you can ask Mayank.
So where actually I'm also looking for last 2 years in a time. So I'm not getting ample time to go with the current affairs. So how do you deal with these things? Like there's a lack of time.
Okay.
Following the current affairs.
So I would say that one of the best things about this is that the current affair that you have to read is quite limited, because you won't be asked politics, right? You won't be asked probably economics, right? You won't be asked business. If you are working in that field, then they might ask you. Otherwise, probably as far as current affairs is concerned, either they will ask you regarding defense-related current affairs or probably your interest. For example, I wrote geopolitics as one of my interests. So they asked me the geopolitical happenings that were going on. So probably your interview is somewhere where you get asked the current affairs, right? And that would be guided by your PIQ form. So if you write geopolitics or defense as your interest, or maybe politics as your interest, then only you get asked too much of current affairs from that. Otherwise, only a little bit of current affairs is asked, and that you can easily cover on. A lot of websites are providing you summaries of current happenings, and there are monthly magazines as well. You can have a look at the defense section of those magazines. So the area that you have to cover is quite less. So I think that can be easily covered in maybe half an hour or an hour daily for 1 month or so. So you can easily cover that.
See,
That is fine. But this clause is not limited when we are talking about GD.
Yes. So, okay. So as far as GD and lecturer topics goes, I would say those are surely current topics, but they are not happenings of past month or past few days. They are in fact the current affairs of, say, probably over the 5 years what has been happening. For example, one of my lecturer topics was new education policy. Now, we won't say that new education policy is current affairs because it came few years ago, right? But it has been for the past 5-6 years in news, right? We have been talking about changing our education system or having the new education policy. And the topic that I had was cryptocurrencies. But cryptocurrencies has been there for, say, from 2010 when Bitcoin first came. So it is also not a current affairs topic per se. However, they do ask you topics which are have been in news for over past 5-6 years, and you have been reading about them for some time. So you can easily formulate your points for 2-3 minutes. You have to speak only, so you can easily collate those points and speak on that. So as such, current affairs won't help you in your GD and lecturate. Being aware over years and reading, keeping yourself aware about the happenings that has been going on is something that helps in GD and lecturate, I would say.
I would just like to add one thing here. It is not the general knowledge. That is the thing. It is the general awareness. But the point that Mayank is trying to say is awareness. See, cryptocurrency, we all have been hearing about it. Education policy. So all these things, you don't have to worry about, GK paper like you have been giving in the other competitive exam, wherein specific questions about that particular things are asked. Dates are important. Herein your awareness is of importance. And remember, when you speak on a topic, always try and answer those 5 why, when, how, where. If you analyze any topic with these 5 questions, I'm sure you will get sufficient material to speak for 3 minutes, isn't it? Anything else? Thank you very much, Mayank. It's been a very, I'll say, heartwarming meeting you after those 5 days. Although when you came in, since you were previously recommended, but in the SSB, that tag of previously recommended has no role to play. Let me tell you this. All right. When as an interviewing officer, when I'm interviewing a candidate, if he's previously recommended, so I want to understand what is in it. I don't find anything to recommend him here. Why was he recommended earlier? And if I find a candidate who has not been recommended earlier, and I find him suitable, based on the performance on that particular day, then I'm only looking for why was he not recommended last time? He should have been recommended, isn't it? So always remember, it is the performance on that day. As I always keep telling my candidates, Virat Kohli did well in the champion trophy in matches that mattered to us. So he became a hero again. But he's a great player. But he's been having his lean times. So similarly in the SSB, it is your performance on that day what has meaning. And I'm so happy. If you are yourself, then you don't have to try and project yourself. The procedures are such in the SSB. You get involved in those testing procedures, your true personality comes out. And remember, we are not looking for ready-made leaders. We are only looking for potential. That openness of the mind, most important part is your mind. Okay? If you keep your mind alert, you keep it calm, cool, free of anxiety, and don't be preoccupied with results, I'm sure success will be yours. And here is an example who has done both of them. And I'm so happy. And he is now looking for the hat trick, looking towards the law also. So we all wish him very best of luck, Mayank.
Thank you.
May all your dreams come true. And may you do well and choose the correct thing, what your heart says. Huh?
Yes, sir.
All the very best.
Thank you.
God bless you.
Beta. Thank you so much, sir.
अब डिफेंस एग्जाम क्रैक करना हुआ और भी आसान। त्रिशूल डिफेंस एकेडमी लेकर आए हैं बिल्कुल ही एडवांस लर्निंग ऐप। तो आज ही ज्वाइन करें और स्टार्ट करें अपनी ऑनलाइन क्लासेस।